Namaste, Jai Bharat. Syria quietly falls into the frame of Darul Islamic concept. The terrorists took over. It doesn't mean that, I don't mean to say that Syria was under glorious rule. Syria was under dictatorship for quite long time. And the present dictator, who's infamous for being rude and rough, etc., is an accidental dictator, in fact, because his father asked him to assume the throne just because his brother was killed. This Assad, not the father Assad. This Assad has obtained a degree in medicine. He got a medical degree, and also, as I understand, successfully completed post-graduation in ophthalmology, and must have been planning to settle down abroad, as it used to be the case. But then his brother dies, was killed rather. So his father said, "Come on, take over after me," and he comes back to Syria and becomes a dictator. And then something special and confusing about him is that he is supposed to be a socialist, and the kind of socialism that he is, or he tries to be, has fascinated Soviets at that time, and he was also fascinated by Soviets to some extent. So they maintained reasonably good relations even then and even now. So he's not a communist per se, but just socialist, but something very close to saying being communism, because communists think that they are the custodians of socialism, and this man believes in socialism. So they thought that this man is somewhere close to them, or somewhere in good terms with them, should be in good terms with them, because there is no one taking communism at that time in the world. There are not takers for communism then also, now also. So this man's socialism fascinated them. Somehow then they developed a good relation which got continued even now. But then his rules were very brutal, and that used to be the case. Now look at the Hamas attack on Israel, what it started everything. The Hamas attack on Israel on 7th of last year, October, had started a spark, and which spreads into wildfire in the Middle East and of course West Asia. Now see what happens. Then Israel, of course, is a mighty nation. Of course, mighty people basically. They're mighty nation. They destroyed Hamas. They destroyed Hezbollah. They destroyed the Houthis. All those things going on. Iran was playing all kinds of game, and now Iran's made to be silent. Then, in the meantime, these rebels took the opportunity, and they started attacking Syrian official armed forces, because they knew this is a time because no one is going to help them. They don't get help from Iran. Iran can't help because Iran itself, they themselves are in trouble. So they're trying to, Iran can't help. And the Russians are already occupied and engaged in Ukraine war. They won't be able to even supply arms and ammunitions. So taking advantage of the situation, and there of course already exists a deep unrest in the civil society of Syria, which several times it happened, 5 times before, I suppose. There was this anti-rule sentiments which were brutally suppressed by Assad. And this, of course, they took an opportunity, and of course, they successfully dethroned him. He flew away from there, and immediately the news came that his plane crashed and he died. But nothing of those such things happened. He safely landed in Russia, and he is there in Russia, and Russia gave him asylum. So to say, that's what we understand. Now, see, it doesn't mean that Syria is going into good times. Syria is actually going to worse times than this dictator. This dictator was a dictator, and at least he spoke at verbatim about socialism. There must have been some areas where he tried to be socialist. We don't know seriously. But then now this is the Darul Islam Company. See, there's a Darul Islam Company all over the world, but then they don't operate in any kind of unison. There are Darul Islam compartmentalized company all over the world, and each one wants Darul Islam for themselves, and they speak about Darul Islam all right, but then they all do it for themselves. And you see that happening in Maldives, you see that happening elsewhere, now in Bangladesh. And these companies are disconnected one another in practice, but united one another in thoughts, theories. They believe or they think that there is a possibility of a Darul Islam, but they don't understand such possibility is nothing. There is no such possibility because they have this inherent differences on all walks of life and every step rather. So this Darul Islam Company took over. This takes this name or that name. They have got very funny names, lengthy, funny names that people keep. Whether it is Al Qaeda or this thing or that thing, very unfamiliar kind of names. They predict. These people also got such a name, so, but they are the same Darul Islam Company who has taken over. Now, the Syrians will have to face brutality apart from Sharia laws. And Sharia laws, people try to implement it in such a manner that Sharia laws are for others and not for the person who is implementing or his people. This is a uniformly present everywhere. They won't follow the rules for themselves, but they want all of this to follow. This is what happened. This is what's happening when you look around. Now, the situation in Syria is miserable. It's going to be worse, further miserable, because we say from deep sea to devil, but this is going to be worse. They was dictator and they were suffering for long time, and now they spuriously think that things got over, but no, they are going to face another kind of dictatorship. This dictator Azad was only one person, so you just have to only go by the whims and fancies of one person. Now with this Darul Islam Company taking over, you will find plenty of people assuming custodianships of religion, and they will also have to face this religious brutality apart from their natural dictatorial attitude. Syria is going to be in deep trouble, and Israel has already done one good thing. They operated on airstrike, I suppose. They have destroyed. They made bombing. They made airstrikes. They said, see, the official army of Syria had a lot of ammunition, and it should not fall in the hands of the terrorists who are going to rule Syria or who are ruling Syria now. It shouldn't go in their hands. So they have destroyed the ammunition dumps. That's what Israel claims. Most likely, that's correct also. So much of things will go to their hands, and it will go to the hands of also the terrorists all over the world. So that's a natural thing which Israel did. So rightly they have done so. So Syria from frying pan to fire. We'll meet again with some other thought after some time. Till then, Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Shri Ram.